Warzone 2's launch wasn't exactly perfect. Battlefield 2042 Season 3 is looking like it could be the best one yet, Blizzard is shutting down all their games in China, and much more on This Week in Gaming. Call of Duty Warzone 2's launch was met with positive reviews from the online community. Fans are still getting to grips with the new mechanics, design changes, and slower gameplay, but overall the community's response has been favorable. Now that's not to say that there aren't issues. One major bug plaguing lobbies right now happens to be when you're put into a downed state. Typically when your health is reduced to 0 HP, you're put into the last stand. The devs at Raven Software have acknowledged that some players skip the down state entirely and are instantly killed. The game's social page was also bugged, making it difficult to invite friends to your lobby or even create a party. Infinity Ward released a minor update that should have resolved this issue. Other balance tweaks and bug fixes are listed on the dev's public Trello board. They've assured fans that issues like these will be ironed out in the coming patches. DICE unveiled Season 3 for Battlefield 2042 this week. This season is all about experimental tech in weaponry, harkening back to the previous games like 2142 and the Final Stand DLC for Battlefield 4. The new map Spearhead is set in the Swedish countryside. The combat is focused in and around two massive semi-automated factories. The exteriors of these buildings can be destroyed and infantry can infiltrate the interior by climbing through the vents. Season 3 specialist Zane is an assault specialist. He's equipped with an airburst grenade launcher that can easily suppress enemy targets. His passive ability lets him recover health as soon as he's out of combat. To follow the experimental tech theme, DICE are adding the Rorsch Mark IV railgun. It can attach different magazines to switch between charge shots, burst fire, and full auto, leading to a variety of playstyles. Similarly, there's a new tank equipped with a railgun turret. It's available to both factions, meaning high-tech tank battles will be occurring. Other weapons include the NVK Smart Shotgun, a new bullpup pistol, and throwing knives. Later in Season 3, DICE plans to redesign the specialists to make them more like the class system. Alongside that, reworks for the Manifest and Breakaway maps are coming in post-launch updates as well. Season 3 launches on November 22nd. The update will release alongside 2042 being added to Xbox Game Pass and EA Play. Blizzard Entertainment announced that it's suspending game services in China. Its licensing agreement with the Chinese game publisher NetEase expires in January, and Blizzard won't renew it. While unconfirmed, Bloomberg reports that the ownership of player data was one of the issues causing tension between the two companies. Blizzard will suspend sales of its game in China in the coming days. The games affected include World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, Hearthstone, Overwatch 2, StarCraft, and others. Diablo Immortal won't be affected, however, since it's licensed under a separate agreement. It's believed that this won't impact Blizzard too much since sales in Chinese markets were rapidly declining. The country's government is currently clamping down on the tech industry with new regulations and restrictions that impact even the biggest corporations like Tencent. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has revealed Microsoft's decision to pivot away from its Game Pass streaming box announced earlier this year. This change in direction is due to pricing concerns, with the cost of the device being too high for retail at just $99. Spencer stated the console they built was more expensive than what they initially wanted because of the high-end hardware used. He later said the console worked well, but didn't make much sense based on the price. Instead, the company will refocus its efforts on something new and maybe revisit the streaming box once costs are a bit lower. In the same interview, Phil Spencer was questioned about game delays and how Microsoft approaches them. Spencer focused mainly on the recent delay of Starfield. This is Bethesda's upcoming space RPG. To begin, Spencer acknowledged that Microsoft is guilty of shipping games too early and doesn't want to repeat past mistakes. He stated that when a game has had so much time and money spent on it, it doesn't make sense to launch something that isn't the best version of that game. He also noted that Starfield and Redfall are the first big games from Bethesda since Microsoft bought them, which adds a lot of pressure. In the end, Spencer believes the quality of the games will be better if they're given enough development time instead of rushing them out as soon as possible. With the successful launch of God of War Ragnarok, fans are naturally curious about what's next for the developers at the Santa Monica studio. And while you'd expect them to be already working on a third title, Cory Barlog, the producer of God of War, has mentioned that the studio is busy working on multiple other projects. Fans speculate that they could be working on a new live service game. Sony has previously shared that it's aiming to release 10 live service titles by 2026. Santa Monica studio is likely tackling a new IP IP since they've technically been producing God of War games since 2005. The annual Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, aka IAE, is live in Star Citizen. It runs until the 30th, letting players download the game and try out many ships for free. The ships that are available changes each day, so if there's a particular ship you're interested in, take note of its availability. Rented ships will be accessible in your inventory for 48 hours. A new ship has also been announced. The Drake Cutter is a single-seat ship designed to be a better starter option than previous releases. Many of the game's existing starter ships are limited in their capabilities because they were designed well before the full scope of Star Citizen was laid out. The Cutter is an attempt to fill that gap between the game's starter ships and sort of the upgrade ships that you can progress to. It's got a good looking layout, cargo, a bed, a bathroom, a pilot's seat, VTOL engines, and apparently some decent straight line speed. Seems like an easy recommendation for somebody just getting into the game. CD Projekt Red announced that The Witcher 3's free next-gen update will release on December 14th. The update is set to include visual, performance, and technical enhancements. Ray tracing will certainly make the in-game world more realistic. The update also promises to integrate a variety of mods into the game, but fans are unsure of what mods the devs are referring to. On top of this, The Witcher 3 is getting DLC inspired by the Netflix Witcher series. This DLC will feature new weapons and armor and alternate looks for select characters, all ported across from the TV show. Grand Theft Auto 5's source code has apparently leaked on GitHub. The data reportedly includes scripting functions, turntables, cut content, and more. Developer notes and part of the game's anti-cheat were also uncovered, meaning hacks and cheats may be easier to implement. This leak comes just 2 months after Take-Two suffered their major GTA 6 leak. That leak showcased a pre-alpha build of the next GTA game. It's unclear how serious this leak is. Generally, it seems like it may make creating hacks and cheats easier since hackers have some anti-cheat code, but Take-Two has yet to comment. Krafton is a South Korean company that owns PUBG. Earlier this week, they announced that they're buying Neon Giant, the developers of The Ascent. The acquisition is part of the company's ongoing investment in premium titles. The Ascent is Neon Giant's only published game, but industry veterans founded the studio with credits for Doom, Wolfenstein, Gears of War, and Far Cry 3. Their next project is unknown, but it's believed to be an open-world FPS game. It'll now be published under Krafton. The developers at Remedy formally announced Control 2 after stating 2 Control games were in the works, including a multiplayer spin-off. Control is an action-adventure game that launched in 2019 with major success. The mind-bending narrative and impressive gameplay won fans and critics over. With the sequel, Remedy has said that this is the most exciting project they have ever worked on. It's still early days as the game is still in the concept phase, and we're probably not getting any solid details for quite some time. One piece of concept art was released, showing an outside area with a similar aesthetic to the first game. Before we move on to our final topic of today's video, let us know what you think of Battlefield 2042's Season 3. Is it enough to get players back online? Are you going to jump back online to check it out, especially once the Specialist rework is in? Or are you busy playing Call of Duty or maybe Star Citizen's Free Fly Week? Ubisoft released new concept art for the Splinter Cell remake as part of the franchise's 20th anniversary. According to the studio's creative director, the devs are committed to making a top-tier remake and want to push as much quality as possible. They've confirmed that this upcoming remake isn't a simple remaster of the original game. Instead, the storyline will be rewritten for new players, and gameplay will be built from the ground up. The new concept art depicts the famous protagonist, Sam Fisher, concealed in different environments. Ubisoft is entering the production phase of development and have stated that they'll be dialing down communications until they have more to show off. Now, if you're looking for more info about Battlefield 2042's Season 3, check out this video here. It's got my first impressions plus a ton of raw gameplay, just showing off all the cool new weapons and vehicles, how they function, and just the gorgeous new map. Check it out, you'll like it, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.